Friends, welcome on YouTube channel. Our channel is Dr. Vet. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor Head Veterinary Medicine. We have already seen the three videos Anemia in Dogs Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Here we will see the Anemia in Dogs Part 4. In this we will see the diagnosis and clinical findings. The diagnosis, as usual with the other diseases, it requires careful and complete history and a clinical examination of the animal. The history on exposure to toxin, rodenticide, heavy metals, toxic plants, any drug or treatment given, any vaccination given, prior illness, travel history, and the duration of clinical signs and other whatever relevant the clinician find regarding the history for the anemia, he should take it. For the diagnosis of anemia, laboratory help is required to give the appropriate proper treatment and early and fast recovery. Without laboratory, we can give the general treatment, but the treatment require a very long time to become successful because it is beating around the bush. So detailed laboratory examination is required. At the same time, it will helpful for the diagnosis of the underlying disease. So here simple thing is a complete blood examination, complete blood cell count, RBC count, WBC count, differential leukocyte, and a smear examination. In that, we have to examine both the morphology or shape and size of RBCs to detect it whether it is a macrocytic, normocytic or microcytic, and at the same time amount of hemoglobin present in the RBC, normochromic or hypochromic, and presence of blood parasites. So at a time we get many information just by examination of the blood. This examination provide information on extent of severity of anemia. Not only that, the degree of bone marrow response for regeneration and production of RBCs and the status of differential leukocyte count and blood parasite infection. Reduction in RBC count or decreased hemoglobin content will also be helpful in judging the severity of the anemia. The RBC indices, the size of RBC and hemoglobin concentration, they are calculated by automated cell counters, and from that we can derive mean corpuscular volume, size of RBC, that can be useful in the diagnosis of regeneration of RBCs. The presence of hemoglobin concentration of each RBC can also be derived and in the form of a formula, and that is called as mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration, MCSC, and that is also useful for description of normochromia or hypochromia. Along with this examination, examine the RBC for the presence of basophilic tippling that indicates lead intoxication. Also examine RBC for presence of Hinge bodies. Hinge bodies are nothing but denatured hemoglobin. Hinge body formation indicates oxidative injury to RBC due to secondary to toxin exposure. A serum chemistry of blood at the same time urine analysis evaluate the organ dysfunctions is also equally required because anemia always occurs with some diseases which are underlying which require diagnosis. If blood loss in stomach or intestine is suspected, measure the BUN, blood urea nitrogen, or perform the fecal occult test. It is a test that detects a minor bleeding. Even the bleeding is very minor. Fecal occult test can detect. And examination of feces under microscope detects trace amount of blood and parasites. Sometimes coagulation profile test also required to detect blood's ability to clot, especially in case of signs of bruising or bleeding. The thrombocytopenia, decrease in number of thrombocytes or thrombocytopathy, suggest the presence of petechial or ecchymotic hemorrhages somewhere in the body. Of course, the condition is rare. Also perform blood test for infectious disease or infectious agents. Sometimes it requires examination of bone marrow sample for the evaluation in case of non-regenerative anemia. Sometimes there is requirement of radiographs, X-ray, and that can help to identify any hidden or occult disease in body. Dear friends, remember, whenever there is anemia, there must be any underlying cause or disease. So along with diagnosis of anemia, the diagnosis of other disease also essential and is required. Coming to the next important part, line of treatment. Along with the treatment of anemia, line of treatment of specific disease also very important. So specific treatment should be given for the specific disease. Otherwise, simple treatment of anemia will not help. Specific treatment of underlying disease or cause is a must. The literature or experience suggests some of the common diseases that causes anemia. Of course, list is very big academically or research, but here for practical importance, I have narrated here few very common underlying cause or disease for the anemia. Some of the causes are external hemorrhage, either severe injury or surgery. Internal hemorrhage, mostly the stomach ulcer, gastritis or enteritis. Epistaxis, hemoptysis, hematemesis, and hematuria. Deficiency of phosphorus causes intravascular hemolysis. The parvoviral infection also causes anemia by two ways. One, it causes the suppression of bone marrow and there is suppression of hemopoiesis. One reason. The second reason is it causes hemorrhagic gastroenteritis. So also there is loss of blood. Common bacterial diseases are leptospirosis, ehrlichiosis. Common protozoan infections are babesiosis, erythrozoonosis. The very common endoparasitic infestation in dogs is Ankylostoma canine, also called hookworms. If the hookworms are less in number, it causes mild anemia or moderate anemia or chronic anemia, especially in adults. But if Ankylostoma caninum hookworms are large number of hookworms attack the intestine, it causes a severe blood loss. Two ways. One, the ankylostoma sucks the blood. They are voracious blood suckers. Second thing, even after sucking of blood, they are detached from the intestine. And at the point of sucking of blood, there is a continuous bleeding, even after detachment. That also causes a great loss. And ankylostoma causes hookworm, a important parasite. Heavy ectoparasitic infection, they are sucking blood, ticks, lice, and fleas. If they are less in numbers, it may cause a subclinical or chronic anemia. If they are large in number, it may cause acute anemia. Certain drugs, either ingested accidentally or prescribed, also cause anemia. If there is depression of hemopoiesis, there is decreased hemopoiesis by bone marrow. It also results into anemia. And common cause of hemopoiesis depression is nutritional deficiency. Important nutrients are iron, copper, B vitamins, riboflavin B2, niacin B3, vitamin B6, folic acid, vitamin B9, vitamin B12, and vitamin E. These vitamins and minerals are essential for the formation of blood. Another important thing is sometimes balanced diet is fed. Balanced diet contain everything, nutrients, both minerals and vitamins. But inadequate consumption of this balanced diet causes deficiency and anemia. And very commonly anemia is observed subclinical. Feeding of unbalanced homemade diet. We think that we have given proper diet. So we are giving as per our wish. But wish of the dog should be seen. The owner should feed the food as per the requirement of the dog's body. Dear friends, remember most common and long-term diseases, especially inflammation anywhere in the body or infection, a tumor or the liver disease are the most common causes of anemia. We all know that erythropoietin is a hormone secreted by kidney. This erythropoietin hormone stimulates the bone marrow to produce RBCs. If there is long-term kidney disease, the erythropoietin production will be affected, and so also the RBC production is also affected, leading to anemia. Another, if there is uremia due to nephritis, as well as the low erythropoietin hormone, both these things produce anemia. So when there is anemia, pay due attention to the kidney disease also. Dear friend, in a very acute cases or in a very severe cases of anemia, give whole transfusion to save the life of animal, to prevent tissue anoxia and to provide tissue perfusion so that tissue can get sufficient oxygen and sufficient nutrient also. The replacement of blood transfusion is, it is not 100%, but sometimes if it is not available, it can be treated by plasma expanders. The plasma expanders contain high molecular weight agent and that increase the plasma volume by increasing the osmotic pressure. Plasma expanders can be also be used in place of blood. It is used to treat the hemorrhage or the shock, just to save the life of the animal. As routine, hematinic preparations are also very much helpful in less severe cases. It must contain iron, copper, cobalt, and vitamin B and proteins. Friends, liver extracts also help to some extent in correction of anemia. Liver extract is helpful in increasing the protein synthesis, and you know the body of the RBC and hemoglobin. It is nothing but made of protein. So this synthesis hemopoiesis require liver extract. Androgenic steroids also increases a hormone erythropoietin, which is useful to stimulate the bone marrow, and we can enhance or speed up the erythropoiesis. The most common cause of hemolytic anemia is immunological hemolytic anemia. If there is hemolytic anemia, most common cause is this. This immunological hemolytic anemia can be treated by intravenous fluid therapy, blood transfusion, immunosuppression drugs. It is a must to suppress the immunity. Anticoagulant medication that protects against high risk of forming internal blood clots. Fluid treatment are also equally important to keep the kidney functioning properly and to protect both the kidneys from high concentration of circulating bilirubin. So for the health of kidney is working as a very good excretory organ. Fluid treatment is also very important. At last, I want to narrate few important points to note for the clinicians. Complete blood count or a blood smear help to define regenerative or non-regenerative anemia and can help to narrow down the list of differential diagnosis. So laboratory help is very much important. Second point, clinical science depends on severity and duration, whether acute or chronic, of anemia and underlying cause of disease also. Third, very important, clinician must inspect mucous membrane for the diagnosis of anemia. Acute can be visible, but sometimes chronic, subclinical or marginal cases require experience. Presented case may be acute, chronic or marginal anemia. So about 30 to 40% cases are from chronic to marginal anemic or subclinical. Lastly, I want to say something to the clinician. Important point. If proper diagnosis and proper treatment, one can get a fast recovery from the illness. A token or advice to clinician. One is why treating acute or chronic anemia cases. It is visible. Also give importance to treat the underlying chronic and subclinical disease. Most of the disease, most of the abnormality in the body causes anemia. That is one point. Second point is that while treating acute or chronic disease cases, also give importance to treat the chronic and subclinical anemic condition that is created by this disease. Third point, erythropoiesis and hemoglobin synthesis may take its own time to cure anemia. So sometimes clinicians feel that there is no response. It is not that. Drug is working, but the synthesis of hemoglobin and the development and formation of RBC will take 15 to 20 days to correct the cases. So patience is required both from the owner point as well as from the clinician side also. And here we end with the anemic condition chapter. Request to share to as many as possible to provide services to the animals, and please subscribe this channel to support and to promote. Thank you very much for observing this video.